Welcome back, my dear students. I, Ajay Kumar Singh, welcome you all back in my class again. Today's the date is 10th April 2020 and the day is Friday. So from today, we are going to start our very first chapter or the poem for class 5. And the name of this poem is Waiting at the Window, which was written by A. Milne. Let's enjoy the poem together. So, before starting the poem, I would like to tell you something about this poem. Okay, this poem is actually about a race between two drops, right? Not four, only two drops, right? So, in this poem, there are two drops which are racing against each other. And with that race, do you remind of something? You must have heard about various kinds of races in your daily life, on TV or in shows, or you must have played some racing games on your mobile phones, right? So in the same way, in the race, there are some circumstances due to which you lose the race or you win the race. So in the same way, in this story also, there are two drops which are racing against each other, and due to some circumstances, one won and one lost the match. Okay, lost the race actually. And do you remind of any kind of story from this race? Have you ever heard any story related to a race? Yes, exactly. That the hare and the tortoise won. In that race also, the winning chances of the tortoise was very low, but luckily, or we can say by his hard work and by his steady mindset, he won the race, right? So in this poem also, we are going to study or we are going to learn about the race between two drops. And let's see who won and how. Okay. So now let's get started with our poem. For your reference, I put the poem here. Okay, do read the lines and recite after me. Try to recite it after me and pay attention to the lines, to the words, and I will be explaining you each and everything properly. Now let's get started. These are my two drops of rain waiting on the window pane. I am waiting here to see which the winning one will be. Both of them have different names. One is John and one is James. In these lines, the poet is trying to say, or we can say, there is a kid in this story, okay, in this poem, there is a kid who is sitting right beside the window and looking outside. And what's there outside? It's raining, right? बाहर बारिश हो रही है और एक बच्चा है छोटा सा, वो अंदर घर के बैठ के खिड़की से बाहर की बारिश को देख रहा है. And you must be thinking, why is he watching at the rain? Because he wants to go outside. He wants to play in the ground, but due to rain, he cannot. So the kid was waiting for the rain to stop because he is getting bored in the house. But suddenly he notices raindrops on his window pane, on his window glass. And what he did then? He thought of an interesting idea, and the idea was to have a race between the drops, between the raindrops. And then he selects two of the raindrops and starts imagining a race between these two. And he named the raindrops as James and the other as John. Fine. Now let's move on to the next lines. All the best and all the worst comes from which of them is first. Here, the kid wants to say that both of the raindrops are saying all the best to each other. Just like in your examination, when you go for the exams, you say all the best to your friends. But deep inside, you know that you do not want your friend to score better than you. You do not want your friend to win over you. So that is the same thing which is happening here. Both the raindrops are saying all the best to each other, but deep inside they are saying all the worst also, because both of them wants to win, right? Now, James has just begun to ooze. He's the one I want to lose. Here the kid is saying that James has started to moving on. Ooze means to trickle down, to flow down. So James has started to ooze, but the kid wants him to lose. Okay, he's on the other side. On whose side? Now, John is waiting to begin. He's the one I want to win. So John is kind of a lazy person here. He's not started to move yet, and the kid wants him to win, as I told you. Now, move on to the next lines. James is going slowly on. Something sort of sticks to John. James is kept on moving. He's moving slowly and steadily, just like that tortoise, right? And here something sort of sticks to John, and John is looking like he's been stuck to something or something is stopping him from moving, right? So he's still on the same position. John is moving off at last. James is going pretty fast. Finally, the John has started to move. Thank God. And but James is moving pretty fast, so it seems like to the boy that it might be very hard for John to catch James. Okay, now next lines. John is rushing down the pane. James is going slow again. And now the things has been changed. How? Now John has maintained the pace. He's in speed. He's moving fast. But James is going slow. So right now the kid is very happy because he's on the John side and John is looking to be winning this race. So James has met a sort of smear. John is getting very near. The John has been met into some kind of smear. Smear means like a sluggish thing, जो दलदल टाइप का हो या कीचड़ जैसा हो जिसमें आप फंस सकते हैं. And after that your speed decreases, right? So he's saying that James has met a sort of smear. John is getting very near, and now John is near to the finishing point. And what is the finishing point here? Yes, the bottom of the window is the finishing point here. Fine? Good. Now the next lines. Is he going fast enough? James has found a piece of fluff. Now the kid is asking that is James going actually very fast or actually in that pace through which he can win the race? Because he's been like stuck in a piece of fiber or a piece of cloth. That fluff means a piece of fiber, right? Now, John has quickly hurried by. James was talking to a fly. Here, the kid is saying that John has suddenly took the advantage of the situation. Now he is moving quite fast. Okay, and James was talking to a fly, and it seems like James is not at all paying attention to the race, and he's just talking to the fly or to the other things, just like the hair in that story has been slept. Okay. So now the last lines. John is there and John has won. Look, I told you, here's the sun. So in these lines, the kid is saying that John is here at the finishing point at the bottom of the window and John has won the race. And look, I told you, here's the sun. And as the race ends, the sun is up in the sky and the weather clears up and the rain has been gone. So that's all with the poem. Now, my dear kids, I just want to ask you something. What message do you get from this poem? Okay, can you tell me? Just try to write it on the notebook and try to tell your parents that what message do you get from this poem? Okay, and I'm going to tell you the same. But before this, please pause the video, discuss it with your parents that what you have learned or what you have understood from this poem. Okay. So the message from this poem we are getting is slow and steady wins the race. No, that's incorrect. That is not the message which we are getting from this poem here. That is from the other one, the hare and the tortoise. But from this poem, you are getting the message that in a very boring situations, you can make the situations very interesting. As in this story, the kid was getting bored inside. And sitting inside the house, looking outside, you want to go out, you want to play, but he cannot. But still, at the same time, he started to imaginate something different. And that different thing was a race between the drops. Have you ever thought of these kind of ideas? So it made the whole story very interesting. And it actually passed his time that fast that he didn't even realize and the sun was up there in the sky. So the message briefly is that in very boring or mundane things, you can find the interesting one. Fine? यानी बहुत बोरिंग चीजों में भी आप चाहो तो अच्छी अच्छी चीजें भी ढूंढ के निकाल सकते हो. So now that's all with the poem. Thank you and have a nice day and be safe. Take care. Thank you.